Hey everybody, welcome back to Heart Breathings. Today we are going to be going through a review of how my Q1 went. And I will just go ahead and tell you that overall I did not hit most of my goals, but I'm also going to talk to you today about why hitting the goals is not really as important as working toward the goals each quarter. And we're also going to set up my brand new custom Kanban boards that I created. I am so excited to show them to you. I had a vision for this office and it is really turning out so nice. And I'm so just grateful to be here in my new house. So I can't wait to show you that and talk about my goals for Q2 and how they're changing a little bit because I want to be writing more in Q2. So let's get started. Okay, so this is my new sort of Heart Breathings office. We're calling this room the library because it has these amazing built-in bookshelves that are not obviously styled the way that I want them yet, but that's part of my Q2 plan. And speaking of Q2 plans, it is day 2 of Q2. It is Tuesday, April 5th, and my plan is not set up yet. And I just wanted to be honest and share that with you because I sometimes do not have an opportunity to set up my plan and have it all perfect and ready to go right by the beginning of the quarter. And so I want to encourage you that if you have been wanting to set up your own plan, just remember that it's not all or nothing. It's all set up by day 1 or the first week goes perfectly or it's all ruined. It really is all about small progress, and it's never too late to get started working on your dreams. So if you haven't gotten started, you haven't made your plan, or you haven't cleaned your space or gotten ready, or you were off to a bad start, take this as a sign that it is never too late and you are still worthy of your dreams, even if you are flawed or if you are late or behind, or even if your first week did not go the way that you hoped it would. We're all still in this together. So let's do it. Plan with me today. Let's get things cleaned up. I have 3 objectives today. 1, to clean up and organize this room in a way that makes it a functional, feel-good space. The second objective, once I get this room settled, is to actually get my Kanban boards up on the wall and get them set up. And this is part of the fun sometimes of having a new space, is figuring out what I want to use for a Kanban board. So this one you may recognize if you've been here a while, was a movie poster frame that I got from Michael's half off. And then I spray painted it so that that plastic acrylic surface would not be so reflective when I had light on it to take photos or video or anything like that. And I loved this board, but I really want something bigger for Q2. Then I had this big board that I've actually had for years and years. This was on the wall in my office back in Cary, North Carolina, when I started writing in 2007, 2008. And I actually plotted a lot of my books on this board. And then later, when I started working with a Kanban board, this was my very first Kanban board. Unfortunately, once I pulled it in here, I realized that it's bowed, and so it's not going to be really usable. So that'll go in the garage for gardening to-dos. So I had kind of a chance to redesign what I wanted to do with this space. Now, when we were on the road, we stopped at an apartment in North Dallas and ended up using these brown craft paper sheets as my Kanban board. So I had each goal was on its own sheet, and I really liked the functionality of having them separate in that way. And I just think it's pretty. And so I started searching for similar to like poster frames or picture frames that I could use, but I couldn't find anything that was perfectly sized for my space. So I ended up discovering this place called Art to Frame, and I will link them down below. And it's really easy to put in a custom size, choose which frame you want, and then have them send it to you. And I thought, oh, I don't want to do a custom frame because it'll take way too long. It'll be too expensive. And it actually wasn't that expensive. I think this ended up being 17 by 32. And I got 3 of them with their most basic gold frame. And they were here in 4 days. So I was very impressed with that. I hope they're going to hold up well. But I, again, will have that same acrylic surface issue. So I'm going to use some contact paper I got off Amazon for $9. And I'm going to cover that up and create my own new sort of hopefully very chic and beautiful Kanban board. So my objectives for today are to get this room looking good, get those Kanban boards set up and on the wall. And then 3, I have all my goals set and everything else. I just need to make these task post-its and get them going. So let's go. Okay, it's day 2 of working on the office. I did not get all of my sticky notes made. Yesterday, but I did make really good progress on the office space. This is the current state of the office. It is looking pretty good, I think. I still have 2 Kanban boards to put together, but I was able, like I said, to put this one together, and I think it turned out so good. I think it's going to be very, very cute. I picked out these 3 colors because I think they look good with the black and white. I just put it on slightly askew, and it's like somewhat you might not notice, but because it's such a pattern, it's gonna stand out. But we did clear out and clean the floors, and we moved my old filing cabinet out of the way so that I can create my Michael's modular storage here, which I will show you in another video, the setting up of that. But all the Kanbans will go on the wall here, and I am gonna get to work on getting this finished up. Hey guys, so let's take a look at how the quarter ended up with my Kanban board. Okay, so this is how my Kanban board ended up for the quarter. And I'm not going to go through every single goal because I honestly got rid of or lost somewhere in the move the exact sheet that I had written my goals on, which is unfortunate, but we've been moving quite a bit and I just couldn't find it. But I did go back to my Q1 Kanban board video to see what those goals were, to see if I had hit them. And let's just say that I did not hit my goals in almost every aspect of this quarter. But we're going to talk a little bit about why that's not the most important thing. And just because I didn't hit the numbers I set out to hit, and just because I didn't clear the board, does not mean that I was a failure this quarter. So let's talk about why. So first of all, my number one goal here was to develop more of a consistent writing habit and create a runway, so to speak, a marketing runway, and sort of clean up all the things that I wanted to clean up and get really started on writing my book so that I could create that marketing runway for book 12's release coming up later this year. I had set forth certain parameters for what that looked like, and basically I did not hit them, most of which are that I had wanted to go back and kind of re-edit some of the words that I wrote during Nano and, get the rough draft finished of book 12 so that I could start working on it. I also had some hopes of doing some newsletter work and getting some stuff on a hardcover I want to do and some other things like that. None of that got done, unfortunately. What I did end up spending my time on when it came to goal number 1 still was successful in, building my community. So I did more social media posts. I also finished one short story and got that published in an anthology. And then I did weekly coffee chats on Friday for my Sarra Cannon channel over on youtube.com/Sarra Cannon. And we've got a large community growing there, and my Discord community is growing as well. So in the end, even though I feel like I would rather not be here telling you yet again that I fell short of my writing goals, I have to share honestly with the fact that I have been struggling probably over the last 2 years, or even maybe 3, since I had Evie and started YouTube and courses. I have been struggling to find the time and creative spark to work as much on my books as I did before I started YouTube. A lot of my creative energy goes into my courses, my teaching, and connecting with you guys. But I am not giving up, because even though I struggle with it quarter after quarter, I still deeply know in my heart that I am a writer, and I'm not going to give up until I figure out a way. But that means that every quarter I need to shift and adjust how I'm doing it. And this is one of the reasons that I love a method like this, where you plan for 90 days, you see and review whether you hit your goals, and then you get to replan and readjust, because I can see time after time that the writing is not getting done. And instead of it being something in the back of my mind that I can ignore or hide because the heart breathing side of my business is doing so well, it's right there in my face. Okay, Sarah, it's time to get this going. Now, the key with that is to not use it as a way to judge myself, but rather to use it as motivation of, this is something I know I want to change. This is where I need to shift some of my energy to, and to get excited for what I can do in the future. But overall, I didn't do about probably 60 to 70% of what I planned to do in Q1 for goal number 1. But I will explain a little bit later when I get to my goals for Q2, how I'm shifting things for Q2. When it comes to goal number 2, however, you can see that I think I did just about better than I've ever done before on a goal. The only things that didn't get done that were on my task list for this quarter were one more video and newsletter. I got a little bit behind on that during the move. Of course, when I started Q1, I didn't even know we would be moving for sure. So that was a big win. And then I had hoped to do a trial with a video editor to see if I could get help with editing my videos. But this was my most successful goal. I didn't hit the Instagram followers that I was trying to get. I was trying to get to 11,000, and I kind of stalled out at 10,600, but I have increased my active community over there. So I think it's something more to do with the algorithms on Instagram now that they're switching to Reels than it is about me. But it is something to pay attention to, that my Instagram growth kind of stalled in terms of followers. So like, if I want to increase my Instagram followers next quarter, I need to change my tactics or my strategy there. And I also didn't quite hit 52,000 subscribers, which was my YouTube goal for Q1, but I hit it 2 days after Q2 began. So I'm counting that one as a win. But the bigger thing for me is that even though it looks in terms of the numbers and everything else up here that I really did not have my most successful quarter in terms of follow through with everything, I had my most profitable single quarter of my entire life in terms of income. And so I did, it's easy to see, I put a lot of my energy once I knew we were moving and we had a house and we ended up with COVID as a family, like we had a lot of things, but I was able to, because of this board, put my energy where it really belonged, which was serving my students in Publish and Thrive and the HB90 bootcamp. So that obviously took up the majority of my time and energy for the quarter, but I'm not regretting that, because even though it looks like, according to the numbers, this was a failure of a quarter, it was actually extremely successful. And so I have a message about that as we close up this section. Goal number 3 was more of a health goal, and I did get some things done. I actually lost about 12 pounds, but I had hoped to lose 30, which was probably a little bit too ambitious anyway. And all of this had to do with starting Bright Line Eating. I made it about 4 weeks in, and then the whole family got COVID, and I just never went back to it because we were moving and it just didn't work out. But I did make some really good progress in terms of my own health. I lost a little bit of weight. I feel better. I've been getting more sleep, drinking more water. So I have improved in that way. But the main message that I hope that you can hear, and why I leave this realistic instead of pretending like I cleared everything off or trying to say that I did better than I did, is that, in the end, the point of the goal is not to reach it and exceed it and do your very best and get everything perfect. The point of the goal is to point yourself in the direction of your dreams. Okay. I know the type of life that I want to achieve. And I understand that if I can grow my community, if I can grow my income, if I can grow my impact and show up with energy and excitement and give my best work, that eventually all those dreams are going to start to come true. It doesn't matter in the long run if I hit 11,000 subscribers on Instagram. A year from now, I'm not going to even remember that was my goal, because I'll probably have long exceeded 11,000. So each individual goal, we put the number there just to be able to see if what we're doing is having an impact or if we need to adjust it. But in the end, The goal itself is not the point. You're not successful or unsuccessful based on whether you hit your exact number goals, like, oh, I hit 1,000 subscribers or I made $5,000. That stuff is nice. It's good to see our work pay off and to inch toward our dreams. But even if you fall short of those numbers and you only get half of what you expected to do done, what's important to focus on is all these things that did get done. This up here is not the point. This is not a failure. This is the win. And that's where we need to focus our time. Now, what I see when I see this is not that I failed. It's just that I still have work to do. I still have to become more efficient. I still have ways that I need to learn how to balance myself. But it's not a failure. It's knowledge that is power and can carry me through to the next quarter. So I hope that you can see it that way too as you set your own goals. Now, let's get this room reset and get ready for Q2. Yay, my Kanban boards are on the wall and I just love how they turned out. I love the bright colors. I love the gold frame. And then I just took a little bit of Simply Gilded washi tape and put it on to delineate my to-do, doing, and done sections. Now, there will be some furniture going down here, but tell me what you think in the comments. I kind of feel like now I need a sign or a vinyl or something to go over the Kanban boards that says something like HB90 method or 90-day goals, or I don't even know, maybe just heart breathings on the wall up there. I think that would be really nice. I got rid of my Cricut, or I would make one myself, but if you know of a good shop that can do either wooden signs that would look good up there or a vinyl that would look good up there that says heart breathings, let me know. But I really like the way this turned out, and you can see, I don't know how well you can tell from here, but I have a lot more tasks on goal number 1, which I'll talk about what that is. And there's a reason for that. So this is still my heart breathing goal. I just sort of switched up the colors for spring, but there's less stuff on here than there is on my writing because this is my quarter to really focus on getting back on track with my writing. Then this third goal is about my 6 months for life project. I apologize about the lighting in this room, but my 6 months for life project is something I'll explain maybe in another video, but I have explained it a little bit more in the coffee chats on my Sarra Cannon channel if you're interested in it. But it's basically the idea of really focusing on my mental and physical health and self-care over the next 6 months in order to set myself up for a healthier remainder of my entire life, like 6 months to really take action so that I can set up those habits that make a real difference. And I will be doing vlogs about this, and I have those vlogs up here listed as part of my 6 months for life. I also have courses up here and I have weekly steps. So I wanted to mention this in particular. So something that I do sometimes when I'm trying to put habits down on here, there may not be a specific step. Like I wouldn't want to put 90 days worth of trying to hit 10,000 steps because that's too many Post-it notes. But what I do instead sometimes is I'll put week 1 steps and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just with the little letters there. And then I will come through as it's sitting on my to-do section. And if I hit it on Monday, I will check it off, or I'll take one of those dot markers and I'll mark it off. So that way I kind of know how many days out of the week I hit my steps goal. And that's a really good way to track habits so that you can still see them on the board, but you don't have to have a Post-it note for every single day of the quarter. Also, I am going to be tracking 6 months for life in a special bullet journal style notebook. It's a B5 Stylogy. I talked about it in my notebook challenge. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just saying week 1, 6 months for life tracking. And that will be basically my planning and memory keeping for that. So for me, this has been the best way to kind of mark down tasks like this. But let me know what you think in the comments. And what's cool about this is I can always switch out this design and just change it with a different kind of contact paper. I also did finished one of the boards a little bit early so that I could leave Post-it notes on them for a couple of days, and they seem to stay fine on the contact paper. So if you're looking at a way to make your own board, you might consider doing some kind of frame. You can find them at vintage stores, yard sales. You can make custom frames, and I will link art to frames down below. So I have my goals set down here in my HB90 goals planner. And the first goal is to build momentum in my writing career by following through with 80%, 90%, or 100% of my tasks for Q2. I chose this goal because I'm really wanting to build that foundation and grow through positive momentum. I am so ready to get my writing back on track. Now, in terms of the wording of this goal, it's really not something that's out of my control. I can completely control whether I do 80, 90, 100% of my tasks. But I really wanted, instead of setting a social media goal or a income goal or anything like that, I really just wanted to focus and set a goal that would support me actually just following through with the tasks on this board. So I have in my planner how many tasks I feel I've got. The tasks in my planner are a little bit more granular than the ones on the board, just because I can make more in a list, but I know how many of those I have to have checked off in order to hit 80% for the quarter. So that kind of gamifies it a little bit, kind of makes me go, okay, I need that 80%. I better get 10% done this week, or I better get another 5% this week. And that really helps me to make it quantifiable and measurable. Sometimes it is also nice to have goals outside of our control so that we can really see if what we're doing is making a difference. But really, HB90 method for me and goal setting is all about meeting yourself where you are and setting up goals that support what you most need to work on. So for me, it's the habit, it's the follow through. And because that's important to me, I'm going to be focusing on how much I follow through with the tasks rather than the results of that at this time. Goal number 2 is to create quality, heartfelt content for Heart Breathings in order to grow my impact and income. Same exact wording of my goal from last quarter and many quarters before. And I just down here delineate what that means. Like, how do I want to grow my impact? How am I going to measure it? So I would like, again, to hit that 11K on Instagram. And then I said a good, better, best, or you can word those if you don't like the words better and best because it makes you feel bad or in some way or judging. Then just change it to wow, exciting, holy crap, like whatever you want to change those to and make those words work for you. But I say 11K, 11.5 or 12K. YouTube, I'd like to get to 54,000, 55 or 56,000, kind of on a like, wow, that would be amazing. And then I also have income goals for both Etsy and my course income. And so this one you can see is more about hitting specific numbers that are out of my control. I can't control how many people subscribe to me, but I'm hoping that the tasks and projects I put on my plate for this quarter will help me achieve that goal. So for this one, I have specifically chosen things that I think will help me move forward in both growing my community, my impact in the world, and in growing my income even more so. And part of this is going to be stuff that's setting me up for the future because I'm going to be working on a complete rebrand, re-record, and everything for Publish and Thrive, which will start again in July or August. So there's a lot of work going on this quarter that's going to set me up for next quarter, but I'm really excited for the tasks that are going on here. And I'm just going to keep my videos going. That's like the main things are the courses and making sure that I have quality videos coming up. And as always, if you have suggestions for videos, feel free to leave those down below or send me a message over at Instagram. This final goal is where 6 months for life comes into play. So to establish healthy habits and nurture my soul by following through with my 6 months for life plans and earning a 6 month for life score of 7, 8, or 9 on average. I've talked about this before. This again is a different type of goal. I would say that this first goal is more of a like performance, a follow through goal. The second goal is more of an outcome goal. I'm focused on the outcomes here of my tasks. This third goal is more of a tracking goal. It's more of, again, kind of a follow through, but giving myself a score every day based on how much I follow through with these tasks. So I have 10 different daily habits that I want to cultivate and nurture throughout this quarter. Waking up on time, 7,000 steps a day or more, and I probably will inch that up every month. Supplements, taking my supplements, meditation, 64 plus ounces of water. I need to be drinking more, but I'm going to start where I am. Writing or story work each day, gaming and fun time, quality family time, outside/garden time, and stopping work by 5 p.m. If you want a really detailed explanation of how I track that score and keep track of it, you can head to my Instagram and go to my highlight called Energy Score, and you'll see how I track this in a spreadsheet. But basically, remember how I said I was going to be tracking things in a bullet journal? That's where I'm going to do it this time. And then I'll calculate the average at the end of the 13 weeks. But basically, every day I'm going to give myself a score between 1 and 10. And all well, actually 0 and 10, I guess, but all I have to do to earn a point is to do one of those 10 things, and each one gets me a point. I'm hoping by the end of the quarter to have an average of at least 7 points a day for the entire quarter. Now, this goal is one that isn't exactly like some of the projects that I put under it don't pertain to those habits. So for example, I do also have projects underneath this goal to organize my closet, to do some vlogs, and to organize the shelves in my house, and different things that have to do with getting my house in order. So those are up here on the board, but it doesn't necessarily count towards those 10 habits. So if I find that I need a little bit more motivation, then I'll probably add like an organizing task to that list of 10. But for now, I'm hoping that it will just be something that works itself out naturally. So this is it. My Q2 plan is ready to go. I have, because it's day 3 of the quarter, I have a few things that have already been done, and I'm hoping to start moving things down. But as always, if you are not familiar with Kanban boards and you're really interested in them, there are lots of resources out there. A lot of traditional, like the original traditional Kanban board is actually something that goes from left to right, not from top to bottom. So I sort of change it up a little bit, but it's such a great tool and it's really flexible. So I have all of my tasks at the top. When something is in process or currently being worked on, this sticky note will move down. Now, traditionally, you should only have one task in like on the go at a time. So you would choose that task, you would work on it until it was finished, and then you would move it to the done section. And that can work for you. Something I have done as a modification for myself is that at the beginning of the week on Sunday, when I plan my week in my planner, I go ahead and move down all of the tasks that I'm going to do for the week into the doing section, and then I move them down as they get completed. Now, I may try something a little bit different this quarter and try just putting one thing, but why that doesn't always work for me is because I might have a coffee chat coming up this Friday, but I'm also currently working on book updates, and I'm also currently writing, and I'm on 35,000 words. So I have multiple projects on the go at once. And I understand that the point of the Kanban board is to keep you from working on so many different things all at once. But my business is a little bit different than the type of flow that the board was designed for. So I just modify it however I want. And that is really what you can do with any type of 90-day planning system like the HB90 method. But if you're interested in following more of what I've done here in this video, I will leave my entire Kanban board playlist down below for you. And I'll leave a link to my Etsy shop where I have a planner that walks you through this entire process. And then of course, we do have an HB90 bootcamp course that you can take again every quarter. So it will go again mid-June. Okay, so that's our video for today. By the time you guys see this, hopefully I will also have my fun modular storage down here from Michael's, and I will be doing a full office tour video for you guys next week. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Please hit the like button. Let me know what your goals are, how your goals went for Q2, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.